Imagine your family's deepest secrets being broadcasted to millions. Not by a news outlet, but by one of the biggest trolls in hip-hop history. We're talking about 50 Cent, the man who never misses an opportunity to stir the pot. And this time, his target is none other than the King of the South, T, and his wife, Tiny Harris. But this isn't just another internet feud. This time, 50 Cent dropped a nuclear bomb that has allegedly torn the Harris household apart. The claim, a DNA test that suggests King Harris might not be T's biological son. While the internet was busy laughing at the memes, the tension inside the Harris manor reached a boiling point that no one saw coming. Reports began surfacing of a heated physical confrontation, a moment that shocked even the most loyal fans of the family hustle. Rumors suggest that in a fit of blind rage, sparked by the humiliation of 50 Cent's claims and a lack of defense from his parents, King Harris allegedly slapped his own mother, Tiny Harris. Is it possible that the pressure of growing up in the spotlight combined with the street persona King is desperate to maintain finally snapped? Or is this a calculated move by 50 Cent to dismantle T's legacy from the inside out? Tonight, we're peeling back the layers of this family tragedy. We're looking at the footage, the deleted posts, and the toxic timeline that led a son to turn against the woman who raised him. Was it the DNA claim that broke the camel's back? Or has this disrespect been simmering under the surface for years? Buckle up, because the king of the household just declared war on his own blood, and the fallout is uglier than anything we've seen on reality TV. This is the breakdown of the Harris family chaos you won't hear anywhere else. The city of Atlanta has seen its fair share of hip-hop drama, but nothing could have prepared the culture for the storm that erupted inside the Harris household. For years, T and Tiny Harris were the blueprint for the family hustle, a brand built on royalty, resilience, and a tight-knit bond. But all it took was one digital grenade from the ultimate internet provocateur, 50 Cent, to turn that palace into a war zone. The chaos didn't start with a physical blow. It started with a claim that hit harder than any punch. 50 Cent, known for his relentless trolling, took to social media to drop a bombshell that questioned the very foundation of King Harris's identity by suggesting that a DNA test was long overdue. 50 Cent wasn't just attacking T, he was planting a seed of doubt in the mind of a young man who was already struggling to find his place in the world. 50's captions were ruthless, implying that King didn't carry the grand hustle DNA, citing everything from physical appearance to King's increasingly erratic behavior as proof. For King Harris, this wasn't just another meme. Growing up in the shadow of a legend like T is a heavy burden. King has spent his entire teenage and young adult life trying to prove he is street, trying to shed the silver spoon image that comes with being a millionaire's son. When the world started questioning if he was even T's biological son, King didn't turn his anger toward 50 Cent. He turned it toward the people closest to him. He felt betrayed by the silence of his parents and humiliated by the laughingstock he had become on the internet. The atmosphere inside the Harris manor turned toxic almost overnight. T, a man who prides himself on intellect and control, found himself unable to manage the fire in his own living room. Tiny Harris, the matriarch who has always been King's fiercest defender, found herself in the crosshairs of her son's redirected rage. Reports began to circulate that the tension wasn't just verbal anymore. The house was filled with high-decibel arguments with King accusing his mother of setting him up for this public embarrassment by not protecting his image. Then came the moment that shattered the internet, the alleged physical altercation. During what was supposed to be a private family discussion about the 50 Cent rumors, things escalated beyond repair. King Harris, fueled by a mix of street bravado and genuine psychological hurt, reportedly lost his cool. Witness accounts and leaked whispers suggest that when Tiny tried to calm him down, reminding him of the lifestyle and the love she had provided, King snapped in a move that shocked even the most hardened followers of the family. He allegedly slapped his own mother. This wasn't just a domestic dispute, it was a cultural earthquake. In the community, the bond between a mother and her son is considered sacred. To raise a hand against the woman who gave you life is seen as the ultimate betrayal of the code. But King Harris wasn't thinking about codes. He was thinking about his wounded ego. He felt that by being soft or maternal, Tiny was making him look weak in the eyes of his peers and his enemies like 50 Cent. As the news of the slap began to leak, the public reaction was swift and brutal. Fans who had watched King grow up on reality TV were disgusted. But 50 Cent didn't stop. He doubled down, posting more memes, essentially saying, "See? I told you that wasn't T's blood. No son of Tip would ever disrespect his mother like that." 50 was playing a masterclass in psychological warfare, using the son's instability to destroy the father's reputation. T was caught in a catch-22. If he punished King harshly, he would confirm the dysfunction 50 Cent was preaching. If he remained silent, he looked like a weak father who couldn't protect his wife. The King of the South was being checkmated by his own offspring. Meanwhile, King Harris took to his own social media, not to apologize, but to vent. His live sessions became a dark window into a young man spiraling, screaming at the camera that he didn't owe anyone anything and that he was standing on business. Regardless of who got hurt, the slap became the symbol of a deeper rot. It revealed that the family hustle image might have been a facade for years. Behind the scenes, the struggle for authority between T and King had been simmering. King wanted the respect of the streets without having to survive the struggle of the streets. He wanted the crown without the scars. And when 50 Cent took away his legitimacy by questioning his DNA, King decided to burn the whole kingdom down. The Harris family is no longer a unit. They are a collection of individuals bleeding out in the public eye. Tiny is left nursing a broken heart and a bruised face. T is left calculating his next move to save his legacy. And King Harris is wandering the streets of Atlanta, desperate to prove he is a man, even if it means losing his family. The spark has been lit. The DNA bomb has exploded and the fallout is only just beginning. While the physical altercation between King and Tiny Harris sent shockwaves through the industry, the psychological war was just getting started. The slap heard round the internet was the symptom, but the disease was the doubt 50 Cent had managed to inject into the Harris bloodline. We see a family not just fighting each other, but fighting a narrative that threatened to delegitimize everything T had built over two decades. The DNA claim wasn't just a random insult. In the world of hip-hop, pedigree is everything. T has always marketed himself as the sophisticated king of the South, a man of high intellect and royal lineage. By 50 Cent suggesting that King Harris, with his erratic behavior, dental choices, and crash-out energy, didn't share T's DNA, he was essentially calling T a fraud in his own home. 50 didn't just throw a stone, he dismantled the throne. As the rumors intensified, the pressure on Tiny Harris became unbearable. Sources close to the family say Tiny was blindsided not just by King's physical aggression, but by the fact that he seemed to believe the rumors. In a moment of high-octane drama, King reportedly demanded the truth during a shouting match, asking if the man he called Pops was actually his father. Tiny, who has been through countless public scandals with T, found herself defending her virtue against her own child. The tragedy here wasn't just the disrespect, it was the doubt. The industry's reaction added fuel to the fire. While some veterans like Boozy Badass took to social media to condemn King's behavior, others were whispering behind the scenes. The consensus was shifting. Something is wrong in that house. 50 Cent, sensing blood in the water, began posting side-by-side comparisons of King and T at the same age, mocking the lack of resemblance. He wasn't just trolling anymore. He was conducting a public trial. T found himself in the middle of a strategic nightmare. If he forced King to take a DNA test, he would be validating 50 Cent's taunts. If he didn't, the internet would forever label King the milkman's son. This internal conflict bled into their public appearances during a red carpet event shortly after the rumors peaked. The tension between father and son was palpable. T tried to maintain his grand persona, but King looked like a ticking time bomb, refusing to stand close to his parents and looking at the cameras with pure defiance. The psychological toll on King Harris cannot be understated. Imagine being a young man trying to find your identity, while millions of people are telling you that your father isn't your father. Instead of retreating, King doubled down on his street persona. He began hanging out with increasingly dangerous crowds, trying to prove that even if he wasn't royalty, he was real. He started posting videos of himself in the trenches of Atlanta, far away from the gated community he was raised in, essentially downing his. This was the moment the family knew they were losing him. The bond that the family hustle had spent seasons portraying as unbreakable was now a pile of glass on the floor. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continued his victory lap. He posted a video laughing at T's attempt to discipline King, calling him stepdad Tip. The disrespect was at an all-time high. The hip-hop community began to wonder, is T going to retaliate? Usually, T is a master of words, but this time, the words weren't working. His son's actions had silenced him. You can't lecture the world on kingship when your own prince is slapping the queen and questioning his own crown. Tiny Harris, caught in the middle, began to distance herself. She was seen traveling without the family, posting cryptic messages about toxic blood and choosing peace over family. The house was divided. T was in his studio, King was in the streets, and Tiny was in mourning for the son she used to know. The DNA test claim had effectively dismantled the Harris brand, leaving T to face the harshest reality of his life. His biggest enemy wasn't 50 Cent. It was the monster he had accidentally raised in his own palace. As we move toward the final chapter, the question remains, can a family recover from a betrayal this public? Is there a DNA result that can fix a broken heart? Or has 50 Cent officially retired T by turning his own son against him? The stakes have never been higher, and the fallout is about to get even uglier. The air in Atlanta was thick with anticipation. The Harris family, once the golden standard of reality TV royalty, was now standing at a crossroads that no amount of PR or family hustle editing could fix. The slap had occurred. The DNA rumors had been weaponized, and the world was waiting for the final blow. But in the final act of this tragedy, the final blow didn't come from a physical hand. It came from the cold, hard realization that some things, once broken, can never be made whole again. As the dust began to settle, the public's attention shifted from the drama to the truth. Did the DNA test actually happen? Sources within the camp began to whisper that T, desperate to end the 50 Cent-fueled mockery, finally sat his son down for the ultimate conversation. It wasn't about a piece of paper or a laboratory result. It was about the blood that runs deeper than a test tube. T reportedly told King that regardless of what the internet said, he was the one who raised him, the one who protected him, and the one whose name he carried. But for King Harris, the damage to his ego was already done. 50 Cent, seeing that the family was on the verge of a total collapse, decided to play his final card. He released a tribute video, a sarcastic compilation of T's most fatherly moments contrasted with King's most disrespectful outbursts. It was a masterclass in psychological bullying. 50 Cent's message was clear: you can call yourself a king, but you can't even govern your own household. This was the moment T realized that as long as he engaged with the rumors, 50 Cent would always win. T made the difficult decision to go completely silent on the matter, a move that many saw as a white flag of surrender. But while the men were fighting for pride, Tiny Harris was fighting for her soul. The aftermath of the physical altercation left her in a state of deep reflection. For the first time in her life, the mother hen of the Harris clan stopped defending her chick. Reports surfaced that Tiny had officially distanced herself from King's business ventures, refusing to fund the street lifestyle that had led to so much disrespect. She chose herself over the toxicity, a move that divided the fan base. Some praised her for setting boundaries. Others accused her of abandoning a son who was clearly crying out for help. King Harris, now isolated from the family's inner circle, became a cautionary tale. He continued to post on social media, but the likes were turning into laughs. He had become the very thing he feared, a meme that people no longer took seriously. The king of the household had become a king without a kingdom. The DNA claims, whether true or false, had served their purpose. They had stripped King of his royal protection. He was no longer the protected son of a legend. He was just another young man in Atlanta trying to prove his toughness to a world that had already moved on to the next scandal. In a rare unscripted moment during a podcast appearance weeks later, T was asked about the current state of his family. His voice lacked its usual bravado. He spoke about the dangers of the digital age and how pride is the downfall of great men. It was as close to a confession as the world would ever get. He didn't confirm a DNA test, nor did he explicitly deny the physical altercation. Instead, he spoke about healing in private. But the internet doesn't allow for private healing. Every time King Harris pops up on a timeline, the comments are still flooded with 50 Cent was right, or where's the DNA test? The legacy of T and Tiny is now forever stained by this period of chaos. They were the couple that survived infidelity, jail time, and the industry's vultures. But they couldn't survive the rebellion of their own son. The slap became the period at the end of a long sentence of enabling. It proved that you can give a child the world, but if you don't give them a sense of self-worth that exists outside of a street persona, they will eventually burn that world down just to see if they can survive the fire. As we close this chapter, 50 Cent remains the undefeated champion of the troll wars. He didn't have to release a diss track or start a street war. He just had to ask a question that T couldn't answer. The Harris family continues to live their lives, but the hustle feels different now. The mansion is a little quieter, the social media posts are a little more guarded, and the king is no longer wearing his crown with the same confidence. The DNA of a family isn't just about genetics, it's about loyalty. And in the battle between 50 Cent's claims and the Harris family's reality, loyalty was the first casualty. Whether King is T's biological son or not has become irrelevant. What matters is that the bond was tested and it failed. The family hustle has officially reached its series finale, and the ending was anything but a fairy tale. The Harris family drama has left everyone shocked, but the real question is, who do you think is truly at fault? Is King Harris just a misunderstood young man struggling with the pressure of fame? Or has he crossed a line that no son should ever cross? And what about 50 Cent? Did he go too far by bringing a child's paternity into a public feud? Or was he just exposing a truth that was already bubbling under the surface? We want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let us know. Do you believe the DNA test claims are real? Can T and Tiny ever truly forgive King after this? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Harris family chaos, make sure to smash that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you don't want to miss the next update on this story or any other major celebrity breakdown, hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. You're watching Rap Zone, where we bring you the truth behind the headlines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next